Welcome in, everybody, to the No Name Show. Apologize for the messed up start there. I don't know what's going to happen on the recorded version. Hopefully, they'll put out the first one and then I can get rid of it. We've had some power issues. The lightning storms in the area have knocked out the power. Had to restart the whole system. Didn't have some of the right audio stuff going on, which can be a little bit frustrating. But I think we've got it all squared away now. And I know we had some viewers in here who probably were wondering why I was talking, and they may not have been hearing anything. That's what happens every once in a while when you're doing a show like this and you've had some issues with the studio. But we've got things, I think, up and running now. And I hope that you will enjoy the program. Once again, number 2 ranked broadcaster on Vocal, and I'm proud of it. I know that this show, the No Name Show, KNOWNAME on Twitter, hashtag KNOWNAME on Twitter. Tweet to us your questions, thoughts, and more. I was just complimenting Vocal on the great job that they've done. They sent an email to many of the subscribers, people who put on shows with them, and they said, you know what, here's the improvements we're making. One, feedback. You know, if you have callers who call in, they don't have a headphone, perhaps they're making a phone call or a video call into your program to ask a question or chat with you, we're going to eliminate the problems that people have with that echo that you see occasionally on these programs. Now, we have phone lines here in studio, 803-450-0086. We didn't do the big intro and this and that and the other like we normally do because things did kind of get off to a shaky start here. And again, it's one of those things that you just kind of piece it together. The time frame, in fact, for whatever reason, you know, I wish there was an easier way to schedule. I wish I could just say to Vocal every Sunday night at 10. Instead of have to go in every single time and put that in. Apparently, I must have somehow clicked 11 o'clock for tonight's show. There may be some people, some of our new followers, who are expecting that show to kick off at 11. I don't even think we're going to make it to 11. It's 10:08 right now. We'll probably go for another 30, 45 minutes or so, talking about whatever you want to. We got a lot to get to here. I don't like the show to be all about me. I do appreciate you guys coming in and really hanging out with us and giving us a lot of topics and things that you want to talk about because, you know, we've got our own discussions that we would like to have, but certainly it's nice to hear from you guys and get your thoughts. You know, I'm trying to get the resolution right here on my second monitor, and for whatever reason, I mean, this thing is just driving me batty right now. I wish I could figure out what the native resolution is. I've tried, maybe it's 1280 by 1024. Computers are typically my thing, but man, 1280 just looks horrible. 1280 by 960, it's just not doing it for me. And because of that fact, it's kind of hard to read all of my information and music and stuff that I use. My stacks over here are pretty difficult to figure out. And because of that fact, the show is kind of starting off pretty boring. Say it again, Homer, a little bit louder for everybody. Boring. Thank you very much. It is a little bit boring in here right now. But that's all right. We'll get rolling here. I want to start with a story that I got from GossipOnThis.com. Now, you're probably saying, what are you doing surfing GossipOnThis.com? And I'll be honest with you, it's the fact that I use my iPad and I take full advantage of all the software that I can. And with a program called Zite, that's Zite, you're able to find some very interesting stories from websites and such that you perhaps may otherwise not visit. And this was one that I came across, and I decided, you know what, we'll take a look at it, we'll mention it on the show, and talk about a couple of the ins and outs of it all, because it's, you know, most of the time here on the No Name Show, you're going to hear about some silly, silly stories. Follow me on Twitter. I'm at ELSWANN. That's at L Swan. We're still working on getting Hurricane Helms from the WWE, former WWE star Hurricane Helms, on the program with us. Tried to get in touch with him a couple of times, still coming up a little bit short. But I do anticipate him joining us at some point. The man loves Twitter. He will get back in touch with us soon enough. But this story comes to us from GossipOnThis.com again, and it's about a clumsy TSA agent who apparently spilt some of Grandpa's ashes all over the floor as this gentleman was coming through a screening there in Indiana, I believe, is where this occurred. John Gross says he was on his way home. No, he was in Florida on his way back to Indiana on June the 19th, when his 91-year-old grandfather's cremated remains, when a TSA agent at the Orlando airport searching his carry-on luggage came across the jar clearly labeled human remains. Now, listen, there are some rules behind this. TSA agents have to, they are required to check on items, but their website states that passengers are allowed to carry on a crematory container as part of their carry-on luggage, but the container must pass through the X-ray machine. Now, out of respect to the deceased and their family and friends, under no circumstances will an officer open the container, even if the passenger requests that this be done. However, as you are probably well aware, lots of times everybody doesn't know all the rules, and that's exactly what happened here. Now, they opened his bag. He said, "Be careful, those are my grandpa's ashes." The lady picked up the jar. She opened it, then used her finger to sift through the ashes.
Holy crap!
That's right. She used her finger to sift through the ashes, and then that's when she accidentally spilled some.
Good grief.
And I feel bad for Grandpa. You'll never be able to dust that old boy up off the floor there at the Orlando airport. "She thought it was funny," said Mr. Gross. "I wanted to smack her. I was on my hands and knees picking up bone fragments." A sad, sad day for Mr. Gross. A sad, sad day for the TSA, but a check mark for patriotism. A win for counterterrorism, if you will. Now, clearly, this is not something that many people, I would think, will go through during their life, having Papa's ashes spilt right there at the entrance to the airport. However, Mr. Gross did try to recover as much as he could, but he just didn't have time to get a broom and dustpan because people behind him were getting quite anxious. But he was able to rectify the situation by getting many of the bigger pieces. He tried to get what was left, but the line continued to grow. A sad, sad day for Mr. Gross and his grandfather, born in 1911, who died in 2002. And that begs the question, if his grandfather died a decade ago, is this, I'm going on a trip. Where's Grandpa? Where is he? I mean, how does that work exactly? Does he travel with Grandfather for good luck? Does Grandfather have one of those bucket lists, a post-mortem bucket list? Sprinkle me at Wrigley Field, and then I want you to take me to the Library of Congress. Sprinkle me out in front of the White House. Take me out to L.A. Give me a little sprinkle up there at the Hollywood sign. I'm a little confused. If it said 2012, I would think, well, Grandpa just died and he's taking him home. And then the canister. Here's the other thing. And then the canister. Like, for me, when I'm dead and gone, if I were to choose to go the cremation route, I really think that I would get myself in a nice urn or something nice. This is not a joke. Grandpa looks like he's being carried around in what appears to be like two dip cans taped together with a rubber band around the top. Is that the best you can do for Grandpa?
Shine, shine, shine.
Grandpa deserves better than that, Mr. Gross. Speaking of gross, the irony of the last names in that story. I don't know about you, but I want to talk about whatever you do here on the program. Hashtag no name, KNOWNAME on Twitter. Chat with us in the chat room. Send us your text questions and more. We're talking about whatever you want. We really will. Right now, we just kind of go with the flow. We do what we can here on the program, and we're going to roll along after this commercial break, which should have been our first commercial break just a little bit ago. We're going to try and iron out the kinks of the monitor over here. You'll probably see it as camera 2 comes on board. But stay with us. We'll be back with more of the No Name Show right after this.
He was hanging in a corner like a candy ball and chain. It wasn't nothing she ever thought about. Didn't know it was gone the day she moved out. In my head, if I pointed it just right.
Hate the thought of shopping? All that hassle and can't find what you're looking for anyway? We understand. Retail stores make it difficult. Instead, try www.edistooutdoors.com. Edisto Outdoors features performance apparel and gear engineered for performance, comfort, and style. EdistoOutdoors.com. You'll enjoy the shopping and you'll enjoy the products. Great products from people who care.
Like many of you, we are always waiting a little bit on the world to change here on the program. Hashtag No Name on Twitter. Glad to be with you. Front page of Vocal, doing it real big. Everybody, come on into the chat room. Come join me. You know what? I'm sick of being the guy that's driving the train. Maybe it's not a train. Maybe this is more like a bus. We don't have a track necessarily. We roll wherever you want to go. We're wide open an hour each and every week, just about an hour, right here live on Vocal. We put the high quality video up. I'm interested to see. I'm interested to see what the quality looks like now after getting that email about the updates. John Donahue in the chat room wants to know what kind of show is this. John, it's a variety show, man. We go everywhere. We report a little news. We give a little sports. We'll go wherever the people in the chat room want to go. You don't climb that ladder on Vocal each and every week by doing a show about nothing. But we do call it the No Name Show. Hashtag KNOWNAME. John, I'm glad you're with us. I don't know what you want to talk about, but I'm about to kick off a little bit of the fact that America has a cluttering problem. Big problem. And you know what? This article comes to us from Today Health. And in fact, cluttering has become such an issue in America that they found out and done studies that it actually starts to hurt you physically. It starts to wear on you mentally, more than many people think. John wants to know, do we film at all? Great question, John, but I have no idea what you mean by that. We film the show. I filmed the high-quality version for our YouTube channel. I have shiny hair. Thank you. It does. It is very thin. Yeah, that's what you call the 16th of an inch. I know. I wish I had a much better hairline. I mean, there are some great hairlines out there. I don't have one of them. Nah, I mean, I don't really make movies or anything like that, John, to be honest with you. This show is going exactly where I want it to. Exactly where I want it to. I think, you should. I mean, as long as the phones work. I mean, the phones are wide open. You want to give us a call, go ahead. We'll talk about whatever you want. My concern with some of you people is this, though.
You can't handle the truth.
Some of you just can't. Some of you can't handle the truth that probably I'm going to be right about everything. Fair? Unfair? Anyway, America has a cluttering problem, and it feels good, too. Here's the thing. If you ever just pack up all your stuff that you need to get rid of, and why do we hold on to these things? Why do I look in a drawer and for example, here, let me go through a drawer. Old watch. Have not worn it in years. I am in a state of discontent. That's what state I'm in. A state of oppression. Why don't I just throw this away? Got this in Mexico years ago. I'm sure it's not real. In fact, I know it's not real because water resistant is misspelled on the back. Now, we're in the great state of South Carolina. That's where we broadcast from. Smiling faces, beautiful places. Apparently, the only beach people from Ohio go to is in the state of South Carolina. And people from Ontario, Canada. If you're not from Ohio or Ontario, Canada, don't you come bugging us here in South Carolina. That's just our rule. I mean, the random nature of things that you find in a drawer. Ah, here. This is even better. Here. What is this? A bent spoon that I just, for whatever reason, cannot part with. Maybe it's worth some money. Maybe I could sell it on eBay. But you go through these drawers throughout your house and you save these oddball things for no reason. You people can't explain it. I can't explain it. But when you go to throw it away, there's a sense of not being comfortable. You don't feel free in your home, people. You've got to feel free in your home. So what do? You have to declutter. Go through. Throw away the stuff you don't need.
That's the smartest thing I've ever heard anyone say about anything.
And I'm serious about this because it is a big deal. You've got to be willing to let go of the yearbooks, maybe. You can hold on to your yearbooks from high school. How about batteries that just have a little bit of juice left? You got to get rid of those, right? I mean, we really, yeah, see there? She has 500. I'm assuming this name is Sophia Doggy. I mean, these names on vocal, you can't ever really tell what they are. But she says she has 500 stuffed animals, people. 500. Take them out. Sophia, take them out and light them on fire. But do it in a contained burn, please. We can't have wildfires breaking loose, like the sad stuff that's going on in the state of Colorado. But you need to do something. It's probably you've probably gone well past. You're pretty much. It's time to get it done. And I know how you're going to feel. You're going to say,
I'm in a glass case of emotion.
You're just going to feel so bad. But after it's done, you're going to feel good. Well, you're allowed to have them at your age. That's perfectly fine with me. But if you were 31, for example, I'd have to say,
Did you eat a lot of paint chips when you were a kid?
Why?
Exactly. Every time you walk into your home, you bring more clutter in. Here's the key. If you bring something in, take something out. You can get attached, John. You're right. Attachment is the biggest problem with clutter. It's how you justify keeping that stuff. First off, let's talk about it. 1, every room, every closet, every drawer. There are 3 things in there. Things you think you need, things you think you need and you don't need, and things you just plain don't need. If you haven't looked at it in 3 or 4 years, it's time to go. It's time to go. One strategy, and we've turned into a HGTV show here. Welcome into Mission Organization, brought to you by the No Name Show. I think about these things, and it concerns me a little bit that so many people can't throw away things like newspapers and bills and just the magazines. Just stack them, hoard them. You pack around them up. You can't do that. Trinkets on your mantle. You start filling up cabinets with shot glasses and nonsense. I got this at the state fair in 1982. I just can't part with it. I just love it. Listen, you've got to get yourselves together. I mean, look at me. I've clearly got myself together.
You borrow my brain for 5 seconds and just be like, dude, can't handle it.
Sophie wants us to take her question Sophie, what is that anyway? Light dependent resistors? Long distance relationships? Lutheran disaster response? Or the Louisiana Department of Revenue? Let's take her question. What do I think about long distance relationships? Well. Having that I've never really been in one, I can't really say. Having said that, now that I'm married, I really don't have any interest in them. But on top of that, I think that in this day and age, with technology, it's not like the 1940s where you had to write a letter and send a telegraph and maybe call once a month. There's opportunity there. Video chat's available. iPhones, all those devices. So, yeah, sure. You know what? You like to have long distance relationships? Go for it. You know what? I have spoken. Go for it. That's what I say about them. I mean, I don't know about the rest of you guys in here. I mean, in modern era, are you kidding me? You can have a long distance relationship that's probably worse than one where you live with. You might actually talk to the person more. I mean, how many times have you seen pictures of people at like Christmas and it's the whole family together and everybody's, in their iPhones? I'm just texting you to ask if we have any more turkey in the refrigerator. We do? Okay, I'll be right in there. See you in a second, Mom. We've all been there, right? I mean, that's happened all the time. I don't know why that happens all the time. No, you know what? I am not awesome. You are awesome. You are awesome because you are here hanging out with me. And some people would say that when you said I was awesome, you actually meant
I don't even know what you're talking about.
they don't even know what you're talking about. They think you're probably making that up. And some people think,
Well, that's the dumbest thing I've heard of.
but others enjoy us, and others enjoy what we're doing. And we're trying to build a community. Hashtag no name, KNOWNAME, because at the end of the show, you'll know my name. That's our hope here on the program. We got a commercial break coming up. Our great sponsors at Edisto Outdoors. Check this out, man. I don't know if you can appreciate this shirt for what it's worth. Let me show you the back, though. Go by their website, edistooutdoors.com. Let me hit the camera 2 here. The old school camera 1, camera 2. Check this shirt out. Get this shirt for the holiday season. Celebrating freedom. Made in 1776 with liberty and justice for all. The old school flag. Go to edistooutdoors.com. They got a deal running on those right now. I'm telling you, 100%. You want to see this? High quality t-shirts, quality products from people who care. They are our main sponsor right now in the program. We're looking to add more. If you have a business and you want to put it out here on the No Name Show, you want to get your name out to the masses, you want to be at the top of VOKLEvocal.com. And I'm laying down the gauntlet with Reality Steve right now. Reality Steve, listen up. I am extending an invitation to you right now. Anytime, any place, you name it. You come on down. You come on into the No Name Show. You can give us some feedback on the Glass House or Big Brother once that kicks off. The Bachelorette, whatever programs they're going on, whatever he's talking about. I want to get that guy in here. Because you know what? It's mano a mano, man. 1v1, head-to-head for the top spot at vocal. If there was a zombie apocalypse, what would I do? Well, if you've seen Zombieland, which I'm assuming you have because zombie movies seem to be the big deal, I would be thankful that I already have my Twinkies in the closet downstairs. You know what I'm talking about. We'll be back. Sophie, stay with us. Everybody else in the chat room. Anybody else that hasn't joined us, you should. No Name Show, rolling along here on Vocal.
Hate the thought of shopping? All that hassle and can't find what you're looking for anyway? We understand. Retail stores make it difficult. Instead, try www.edistooutdoors.com. Edisto Outdoors features performance apparel and gear engineered for performance, comfort, and style. EdistoOutdoors.com. You'll enjoy the shopping and you'll enjoy the products. Great products from people who care.
Georgia, 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 Georgia. We on the grind, Georgia, all the time. It ain't nothing on my mind, but Georgia. We ain't playing with.
Oh, yeah, a little ludicrous Georgia right there bringing us back. And for whatever reason, man, our cameras are getting wackadoo tonight. And I'm telling you, we're trying to get these things adjusted. I wish I could get a little quick way, a little quick tab thing, to punch it in. But we got so much going on here. It's unbelievable. We got the Twitter feed going over here on the left side, hashtag no name KNOW. Don't spell it wrong. If you spell it NO like no name, you're not getting me, and I'm not getting you. You gotta hashtag the right thing. It's on the bottom of the screen. Hashtag that. We'll see it. Joe, what's up, big boy? Good to see Joe B up in the chat room, hanging out. Invite your friends each week, 10 p.m. Sunday night. What else are you gonna do? Don't have school. Can't go to bed yet. You got to hang out with somebody. Do we have sponsors? John, we got them coming out our wazoo, buddy. EdistoOutdoors.com. Check them out. Check out the show. Check out the shirts. Go in there. I'm telling you, get the graphic tee. I'll show it to you again, man. This is the one. Running them. I believe they're on sale right now for $19.99. Look at that. That is unbelievable. I don't even know if you can see it very well. But we tried. We do what we could. I should have gone to camera 2 again. Joe B. What up, Joe B? I see you right there. Droid. J-Droid Chat. Give J-Droid Chat a little follow action. Let's see. TweetDeck. I like TweetDeck. User, I'll follow you. I'll see what you got going on. L Swan's going to follow you. I'll see what you're doing. You tell your friends about us. Bring them in. And we actually have an extra second. We have an extra second, man, to do this show tonight. Do you know why? The leap second. Brother, the leap second just went down. I'm reading here in the chat room. Oh, man. Joe, man, this is just... The No Name Show is just a little... the teensy part of the whole thing. Brother, we talk sports here on my network during the football season 3 nights out of the week. Sunday nights, the No Name Show's probably going to get pushed around a little bit with that schedule. We talk ACC, SEC football. We talk Clemson football. I got a guy that does a Gamecock show. Now, he doesn't like to do it. I don't know if you follow much football, but you got the Tiger back there choking out the Gamecock. So we do a whole lot of stuff here. The No Name Show, to be honest with you, John, the No Name Show. Good, Joe. You should follow our programs, man. I'm telling you. Here's the deal. The No Name Show came out of the fact that every time I got on Vocal, I'll be honest with you. Every time I got on Vocal and did my Clemson shows, we had a couple of hundred people in the room, whatever it is, people paying attention and chatting this, that, sending questions and all. Good times. But then I'd go and I'd see, like, some kid, in a keyboard in a dark room, let's do a... And I thought, you know what, that didn't appeal to me. But I felt like, I didn't just want to talk sports all the time. I wanted a little bit more interactive show. So I started doing the No Name Show just kind of as a little, whenever I had a minute. If I was bored, kind of like you said, tonight you're bored, you just wanted to see what was going on. Well, boom, I'd fire up a No Name Show. We'd cover all kind of stuff. And then as you're starting to grow your viewers on Vocal, what you find is that you start off pretty slow. You might have 1 or 2 people loyal. I mean, great. Let me tell you. There's a guy named Tom Gully, does a hilarious show. He did on Vocal for a while. He's now since gone because he had some issues with it with Vocal, but did a wonderful show. I mean, hilarious. A little bit more adult humor than what I do here. I try to keep it as clean as I can. because I don't want this show to be something where someone will be offended by what they hear. And you got shock jocks out there, I guess, and I might consider myself, to be someone who likes to toe the line because I want you to be able to say, hey, mom, dad, this show's good. This guy's pretty smart. He knows what he's talking about, whatever. Tell your friends, whatever. So we keep it, clean. We'll go wherever you want. We'll go wherever you want. But, out of necessity, as you start to grow your audience, with a program, you've got to kind of have that niche. What are you going to do? What are you going to be? And this show it's kind of a news reporting show. It's a show that's going to cover whatever you guys want to talk about. I like to learn stuff. If you say, do you know about the new LCD screen TVs, blah, 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 whatever, get into all of that. I mean, it's wide open. Yeah, John, I tell you, the biggest thing about getting sponsors is this, man. And this is another reason that we do the show the way we do it. Hey, Joe, you got me. I'm from the South. My voice must have given me away. That reminds me, anytime you're from the South, you got a good Southern reference here, the movie Sling Blade.
I like them French fried potatoes. Mm-hmm.
He liked them French fried taters. Mm-hmm. And anytime you're going to talk Southern, you also, Mountain Dew. Do I drink it? Man, when I was younger, then you get the cavity creeps, bro. And when you start paying for your own dentist, then you start bailing out on all those drinks. When your parents are paying your dental fees, hey, drink it up, whatever you got. Yeah, we're going back to the sponsors, but finally, one last Southern reference here on the program.
Heavenly Father, we thank you tonight for all your blessings. You said in all things give thanks. So we want to thank you tonight for these mighty machines that you brought before us. Thank you for the Dodges and the Toyotas. Thank you for the Fords. And most of all, we thank you for Roush and Yates partnering to give us the power that we see before us tonight. Thank you for GM Performance Technology and the R07 engines. Thank you for Sunoco Racing Fuel and Goodyear tires that bring performance and power to the track. Lord, I want to thank you for my smoking hot wife tonight, Lisa. My two children, Eli and Emma, or as we like to call them, the Little E's. Lord, I pray you bless the drivers and use them tonight. May they put on a performance worthy of this great track. In Jesus' name, boogity, 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 amen.
Oh, you got to love a good NASCAR prayer. Oh, good gracious. That's one that doesn't get old at all. But the key to sponsors, John, to be honest with you, I'm no expert by any means. I mean, you got to go out. One, you've got to find people who you can trust you. Affiliate marketing is a great way to go. If you can find a way to get some affiliate marketing, that's awesome. Even just starting with on your website, look about with Google AdSense. That's a good way to start. Then, as you start to build your audience, you got to be able to prove your numbers to people. That's the toughest thing you can do in this internet world because everybody still wants to know. Look, my theory on doing the show, I used to do 2 hours of sports talk radio every single night. And I did it from 10 to midnight. It was not live on the internet, but it got broadcast on about 8 or 10 stations across the South. And what I told my producer was, I said, listen, I can keep doing this show for 2 hours and all that. We don't get any calls. We don't get any interaction. We would get calls. They'd be in the can, and we'd play them on the next show. But then the guy who called knows that our show isn't live anymore. I'd rather do a show live in front of 8 people than I would a show taped in front of 8 million. Now, it might sound ridiculous to you, but for the person putting on the show, and that's a big key, John, what you got to make sure is if you're doing your show on vocal, make sure you find a place like this where you can do it live. Make sure you've got an MP3 recorder on the back end or that you're recording with something like Webcam Max. That's the way I do it for my YouTube channel so that I get very high quality audio. Now, vocals making improvements. There are things they're still missing, and I've written back and forth with them. They need polls. but they told me they're talking about some premium users and all kind of stuff. Yeah, well, there's a free version of Webcam Max, Joe, and then there are some ones you can pay for. Now, Webcam Max is the thing that gives me right here the little screenshot below. It also can do some really wackadoo things that I would never really do during the show, except for right now. Just to give you an example, I can put on, say, a LeBron James face, perhaps. Yeah, I'm glad I'm the champ. We're number one, Miami Heat. That's how we do it. We are the best. LeBron James on the No Name Show. Tell your friends. Okay, so they've got some kind of strange things that you can do. I hope I can get rid of that LeBron James. That's going to really be annoying if I cannot. That if that's stuck on my face the rest of the night. There we go. So, there's all kind of effects, but the thing I really wanted it for was the overlays. There's a pay version. If you have a Mac, there are some great versions. Mess with any copyright stuff. Hold on, let me see. I know you said something else up here. Do you have to cover any copyright stuff, or can you just start winging it? So if you're talking about like intro music and outro music, yeah, I mean it's a slippery slope, man. The Creative Commons, you do have Creative Commons is one thing that you can always kind of go to. Um, that kind of counteracts everything else with the copyright law. I mean, for example, look, the guys at um, Ice Cube, for example. Ice Cube song "Check Yourself." Here it is. Now, technically, I think you're supposed to give credit all the time if you're going to use something like that. And down the road, I think if you got big enough, you're going to have to worry about things like that. But at the starting point, the worst thing that's going to happen is most likely you'll get a cease and desist. They'll say, hey, you don't need to be using Sony music anymore or whatever. I mean, whatever the case may be. And, I don't know if you're 18 or 28 or 30. Maybe you're 68 and you're just getting into broadcasting and you want to put on a show. But, it's okay to push the envelope. I think that's healthy. These guys are, when I play that music, you're hearing it. And some of you might have Shazam on your phone. You pull it out, you listen to it, and you go and download it, and you buy it. And the guy got money from me helping him out. Now, from me playing his music. So, look, if I was an artist, I would want people to play my music on their shows. Yes, you can capture a screen. You can also show what's going on another screen. If there's let's check out a YouTube video here. Let's see what's trending on YouTube right now. I'll show you an example. You can actually, okay, so Jimi Hendrix. I see a lot of tech stuff. Where are the top videos on YouTube? I don't really. Oh, here's trending. Here we go. Trending. Yeah. You can show your other screen. No, all the faces, everything's built in. I wish I could show you. Okay, so for example, say you wanted to know what Fred Rogers looks like. And I just picked Fred Rogers because a couple of weeks ago we had a program and somebody said something about Fred Rogers. And you wanted to know, okay, well, who is Fred Rogers? Well, with Webcam Max, and Fred Rogers is, probably everybody's favorite person out there. You can actually capture a screen or source. There you go. There's Fred Rogers. Hey, Mr. Rogers, how you doing there, buddy? Hope we can get back to me and off of Fred Rogers. Okay, good. So there's lots of different mechanisms. I run a 2-camera setup. I can't believe my show has kind of turned into this. Next show, Clemson show, Wednesday night. Well, Wednesday night's 4th of July. Probably moving that up to Tuesday. I think I got it scheduled for Tuesday evening, but that also depends on whether or not my wife has our baby or not. That's kind of pressing the schedule a little bit. But I'll keep you updated. I'll tweet and all that, for everybody out there. But, yeah, Webcam Max is pretty nice. There is a free one, a free version of Webcam Max, but I think it might have a limited trial. But it's really not that expensive, especially if you want to do some stuff like what you've seen. And you can load in, videos that you've already recorded, play them up in a small frame. You don't have to necessarily use the big frame. It's a good way to get your show started. And that's the best thing I think I could tell somebody. Look, I'm by no means an expert at this. Clearly, because of where we rank on vocal we've done the right things to get there. We want to continue to do that. I want to make this show the best it can be. But if I have to take time out of a program to help out a couple of people, that's what I'm going to do because it's the right thing to do. If I was coming up and I was, and here's the other thing. Education is so important. Let's put that out there. I mean, there's no questioning the value of your education and graduating from high school, and I really believe going on to college and getting your degree and whatever, if it's in business or if it's in broadcasting, whatever you want to do. But you are growing up, and many people are growing up in a time where you got to be able to create something. You got to be able to make something. And if you can do that, you've really got an edge on those people who are just going to go do the same monotonous job, sadly. So, if this is a passion, Joe, John, whoever, take the ball and run with it. Look, hey, I'd love to find my way to the top here. It'd be amazing to be number one at vocal and hang on to that, and hopefully vocal will continue to grow. But to think about people who want to do well at it and go for it, and really strive and reach for their dreams. That's the type of people that I think vocal wants. That's the type of people that I want to see. And in here, because those little rooms where it's just a kid, chit chatting with his friends, it's not Skype. I don't think vocal was meant to be Skype. And you might find some great, oh, great, great Rick from Pawn Stars. Nice show. Excellent show, man. Love the show. You might find a show on here that you really like that's one of those kind of nonsensical shows. And we kind of want to be a little bit of that. But all in all, I think the ultimate goal for vocal is to find people who put on shows like this that are scheduled, that are on time, that do what they're supposed to do, that run commercials, that captivate and interact with their audience. And maybe it's not the most captivating program. Maybe you have people who leave here and go, "Good gracious, that was the most horrible show I've ever seen." Some people might think,
Man, you are one pathetic loser.
but all in all, the ultimate goal, I think for this show and for any show on there is to entertain to some degree, to bring the audience some content that they like, and I hope that you guys will continue to do that. And let me know, tweet to me. I'm at Elswann, ELSWANN on Twitter, hashtag no name. Let me know about your shows. If you kick one off, man, I'll be happy to tune in and give you some feedback on what I think. But, if you think you're going to start off and go, oh, yeah, here comes the money rolling in, like Leo Laporte, the tech guy, man, that's a dream right there to be, to have the Twit network that Leo Laporte has. I don't know if you know who that is, but I'm telling you, that guy is living the life that I would want as far as podcasting and media goes. I mean, that guy's found the niche. And it's just going to take the right person coming along and seeing the right show for somebody else to have a really good chance. So, I hope that you'll keep, shooting for it. Anyway, final segment here, and we're going to get you out of here this week. Appreciate Joe and John, and I believe it's Joe and John. Yeah, Joe and John and Sophia and everybody else who's in the chat room. Of course, we'll be back next week, as always, hopefully, with or without baby number 2 here. But you do have an extra second. And I don't really understand the leap seconds. I kind of get leap year because, apparently the rotation of the Earth around the sun takes actually longer than 365 days, just slightly. Just slightly enough that every 4 years we have to have a leap year. We have to have an extra day so that everything stays in sync. So that in, say, 90 years from now or more, winter is not in July. And clearly winter is not in July as temperatures have reached 109 where I was located just 2 days ago. 109. And I'm not talking about all you dashboard temperature weather thermometer people who jump in your car and take a picture when it says 118 when that's really the temperature of the car and the asphalt and everything else. I'm talking about the real temperature, 109, in the shade, 109 degrees. Hot. Record-breaking. Hottest day in 125 years where I'm located. Parts unknown. Now then, we actually had a leap second. The official time jumped from 23:59:59, this was on June 30th, to 23:59:60 before going to July the 1st. We had a leap second because apparently, and I did not realize this, but it makes plenty of sense now, our Earth doesn't spin exactly at the same rate as we have it calculated. And to keep that in sync as well, so that in 600 years, or however long it would take, night would not be day and day would not be night, would it really matter? Didn't people live just fine without clocks many years ago? I mean, we get so hung up in leap seconds and leap years. I'll tell you what, you want to leap into something? Leap into our program next week, right here on Vocal. Hashtag KNOWNAME. Phone lines are open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. 803-450-0086. Call that number. That'll pipe you right through if you want to talk to us. We'll see y'all next week here on the No Name Show. Thanks, guys, for being with us.